What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Educate to Space podcast, where we're on a mission to build the most inspiring and well-rounded education movement possible so our kids can thrive in the modern world. Today, I want to talk about travel, what it can teach our kids, why it's personally important to my family, and why I think the world itself should be a much bigger part of how we think about education. My family travels internationally each year, and we're currently preparing for a much longer trip ourselves. My wife was born in Morocco and grew up in Italy, so raising kids who are internationally minded and comfortable around different people, cultures, languages, and ways of living is personal for us. I've always thought there was something extremely powerful about getting outside of your normal environment, outside of your comfort zone in general. When you travel somewhere new, you quickly realize that many of the things that you consider normal are really just what you're used to. People eat differently, they communicate differently, their cities are designed differently, kids play differently, families spend their time differently, etc. Sometimes, even something as simple as going to the grocery store becomes a completely new experience. You can read about another country, you can watch videos about it, you can look at pictures and study its history. All of that is valuable. But standing there, hearing the language around you, eating the food, navigating the streets, meeting the people, and figuring out for yourself is completely different. The learning becomes real. Geography is no longer just a map. History is no longer just something written in a book. Language is no longer just vocabulary you're trying to memorize. Culture becomes actual people living actual lives around you. And I think that matters a lot for kids. I'm going to rant here for a second. We have a tendency to make education feel like something that only happens when a child's sitting down, being instructed by an adult, completing an assignment, or preparing for a test. But kids are learning constantly. They're learning when they're navigating an airport, when the plans change, when they try to communicate with someone who doesn't speak the same language, when they encounter unfamiliar food, customs, transportation, money, architecture, and expectations. They're learning that the world is much bigger and more interesting than whatever small corner of it they happen to call home. And not all of those lessons are comfortable. Travel can be exhausting, trust me. Flights get delayed, kids get tired, people get frustrated, the little ones throw temper tantrums, etc. Something you planned can fall apart, you can get lost, misunderstand somebody, end up in the wrong spot. Anything can happen, but it's part of the education also. Kids get to watch how we respond when things don't go perfectly. They get the opportunities to practice patience, flexibility, communication, and problem solving in situations where those skills actually matter. You can't always schedule those lessons into a curriculum. Sometimes you just need to experience them. I think this is especially important as technology and AI continue changing the world. Information is becoming nearly unlimited. A child can ask a computer to explain almost any subject, translate nearly any language, create a lesson, generate an image, write code, or help solve a problem. It's amazing. I'm obviously a huge believer in what this technology can make possible, but information's not the same thing as experience. AI can tell you about other cultures, but it can't replace meeting someone from that culture. It can describe an unfamiliar place, but it cannot give you the feeling of navigating it yourself. As information becomes easier to access, qualities like curiosity, adaptability, judgment, confidence, and the ability to connect with different people become even more valuable. Travel can help develop all of those things. Now, when I say travel, I don't think every family needs to sell everything, leave their job, or become full-time world schoolers. That lifestyle is fascinating, and I'm excited to speak with families who've taken that leap, and even to get into some of that myself here in the near term. But it's not the only way to make travel part of your child's education. It can mean spending a few weeks somewhere instead of rushing through it in a few days, just slowing down. It can mean visiting family in another country. It can mean a road trip, camping, exploring another state, or intentionally experiencing a part of your own city that you normally pass by. It could be letting your kids help plan where you're going, understanding the budget, researching the history, learn a few words in another language, navigate the map, or choose something the family will experience together. The mindset may be more important than the distance. Are we simply moving from one attraction to another, or are we slowing down enough to become curious about where we actually are? Are we giving our kids a polished vacation, or are we letting them participate in the reality of exploring somewhere new? I happen to believe that the exploration is much better than polished vacations. There's nothing wrong with taking a vacation relaxing. Parents and kids both need that, but I think travel can be much more than that. It can be education. It can also change the relationship between parents and children. At home, adults are often expected to have the answers. In a new place, everyone's figuring things out together. Your kids get to see you ask questions. You make mistakes. They see you learn. They see you talk to people you've never met and work through situations you cannot completely prepare for. I think there's something powerful about children seeing their parents as active learners too. This is also part of why we built a Where in the World space into the Educate to Space community. I want families to be able to share where they are, where they're going, what they're learning, and potentially connect with other families along the way. We also have local gatherings and community calls because this does not need to be limited to people traveling full-time. Someone who lives in a place can help another family experience it more meaningfully. Traveling families can share what they're learning. Parents considering a longer trip can speak with people who have actually done it, including the difficult parts that don't always make it onto social media. Over time, I would love to see an international network of parents, educators, builders, and families helping each other explore, learn, and connect on the platform. The goal is not just to raise kids who can say they visited the most amount of countries. The goal is to raise kids who are curious about people, comfortable with difference, capable of navigating unfamiliar situations, and excited by how much there is left to learn. What if we stopped treating travel as time away from learning and started reorganizing it as one of the most human forms of learning we have? That's something I'll be exploring much more through Educate to Space, both through my own family's experiences and through conversations with families who have taken completely different paths. If this resonated with you, please visit educatetospace.com to learn more, sign up, and join the movement. You can introduce yourself, visit the Where in the World space, suggest a community call, or even host a local gathering where you're located. Also, please take a moment to rate the podcast and share it with another parent who might connect with this. It helps us get the word out and continue growing. Until next time, thank you.